The deep silence of space broke with a soft beeping sound. On the bridge of the research vessel Horizon, Captain Jack looked up from his coffee, his eyes narrowing at the flashing red dot on the main screen. Something big had just entered their sensor range. "Tom, what are we looking at?" he asked his sensor officer, who was already tapping rapidly at his console. "Sir, it's huge, about 3 times our size. Design unknown, but the energy readings are off the charts." Tom's voice trembled slightly as more data scrolled across his screen. The captain stood up, his worn boots clicking against the metal floor as he walked to the main viewport. In the distance, a massive shape drifted against the star-filled background. Its dark hull seemed to absorb the light from nearby stars, giving it the appearance of a moving shadow. "Get me a closer look," Jack ordered, and the ship's cameras zoomed in. The strange vessel had a design unlike anything in their database, sleek, predatory, with what looked like retractable claws along its sides. A cold feeling settled in his stomach as he recognized the description from the warnings they'd received during their mission briefing. "Sir," his communications officer spoke up, her voice tight with concern. I think that's a stalker ship." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew about the stalkers, the apex predators of known space. Other alien species spoke of them in whispers, warning humans to run if they ever encountered one. In the 3 years since humanity had joined the galactic community, no human had ever seen a stalker up close and lived to tell about it. But something wasn't right. The ship's movements were erratic, almost like it was wounded. "Captain," Tom called out suddenly, "I'm picking up a distress signal." Before Jack could respond, the ship's medical officer, Dr. Anna, burst onto the bridge. "Did I hear that right? A distress signal from a stalker ship?" Jack nodded slowly, weighing their options. Protocol said to avoid any contact with stalkers. Common sense said to run. But everything humanity stood for, their dedication to helping others, their courage in the face of the unknown, told him to stay. "Play the signal," he ordered. A series of harsh, clicking sounds filled the bridge, followed by something that could only be described as a whimper. Dr. Anna's eyes widened. "That's not just a distress call," she said. "That's a medical emergency signal. Universal format. They're broadcasting it so any species can understand." Jack made his decision. "Tom, bring us alongside, but keep weapons hot. Dr. Anna, prepare your medical team. We're going to help." The Horizon carefully approached the massive stalker vessel. As they got closer, they could see damage along its hull, not from weapons, but from what looked like a collision with space debris. A docking port on the larger ship slowly opened, like a massive predator opening its maw. The rescue team, led by Dr. Anna and protected by 2 security officers, entered the stalker ship. The interior was dark, with walls that seemed to pulse with a faint bioluminescence. They followed the strengthening distress signal to what appeared to be a medical bay. What they found inside made even the seasoned security officers step back in shock. A full-grown stalker, nearly 3 meters tall, with armor-like scales and powerful limbs, lay curled around a smaller form. The adult was clearly dying, its scales dulled, and its breathing labored. But it was the smaller form that drew their attention. A stalker cub, no larger than a human child, connected to what looked like life support equipment. The adult stalker's eyes opened, revealing multifaceted orbs that glowed with dying intelligence. It looked at the humans, and to everyone's surprise, it slowly uncurled from around its cub. With trembling claws, it reached out and touched the medical symbol on Dr. Anna's uniform. The message was clear: "Save my child." Dr. Anna stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We'll help, I promise." The adult stalker seemed to understand. It made a soft clicking sound, gently touched its cub one last time, and then its eyes dimmed forever. The humans stood in silence, now responsible for a task that no one in known space had ever attempted, saving the life of a stalker cub. The universe held its breath, watching as humanity once again proved that their greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or their technology, but in their boundless capacity for compassion. Dr. Anna stood in the Horizon's medical bay, staring at her most unusual patient. The stalker cub lay on a specially modified bed, its scaled chest rising and falling with shallow breaths. Despite being young, it was already the size of a large dog, with metallic-looking scales that shifted between dark blue and deep purple. "How's our patient doing?" Captain Jack asked as he entered the medical bay, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Anna, who accepted it gratefully. "Stable, but that's about all I can say with certainty," she replied, taking a sip. "Its biology is like nothing I've ever seen. The scales aren't just armor. They seem to be part of a complex system that processes energy directly from its environment." The ship's computer chimed, and a new set of test results appeared on the main screen. Anna frowned as she studied them. The good news is that its genetic structure has some surprising similarities to Earth life. The bad news, she pointed to a complex pattern in the data. Something is attacking its cells from the inside. "A disease?" Jack asked, leaning closer to look at the display. "A genetic one, yes. From what I can tell, it's rare even among stalkers. That's probably why the parent brought it this far out into space. They must have been searching for help." A soft chirping sound drew their attention. The cub had opened its eyes. They were golden, with pupils that shifted like liquid metal. Instead of showing fear, it watched them with clear intelligence. "Hello there," Anna said softly, approaching slowly. To her surprise, the cub made a sound that seemed to mimic her greeting. "Remarkable," Jack muttered. "It's trying to communicate." Their moment of wonder was interrupted by an urgent call from the bridge. "Captain, we're receiving multiple transmissions from nearby systems. Word has spread about our passenger." Jack tapped his communicator. "Put them through to the medical bay." The air filled with holographic messages from various alien species. Their appearances were different, but their messages were the same. "Abandon the stalker cub, or face the consequences." "You don't understand what you're dealing with," warned a reptilian diplomat. "Stalkers are apex predators. They hunt other sentient species. That cub will grow into a killer." "The parent trusted us," Anna argued, her hand unconsciously moving to protect the cub. "We can't just let it die." The cub watched the holograms with obvious interest, its head tilted to one side. Then, to everyone's amazement, it reached out and touched the medical scanner next to its bed. The screen lit up with what appeared to be biological data. "It's helping us," Anna breathed, studying the new information. "It's showing us its own medical data." "But how?" Jack asked, stunned. "It's just a cub. Maybe stalker young mature faster than we thought. Or maybe—" Anna's eyes widened as she processed the new data. "Maybe they're not the mindless predators everyone thinks they are." The cub made another sound, this time a complex series of clicks and whistles. The ship's computer began translating. "Help, sick, trust." Jack and Anna looked at each other in shock. The cub was not only intelligent, but had already begun learning their language through the ship's translation system. "Well," Jack said with a slight smile, "I guess this settles it. We're not giving up on our patient." Anna nodded, already analyzing the new medical data. "The genetic disease is attacking its energy processing system. That's why normal stalker medicine couldn't help. They treat symptoms through their technology, but this needs a completely different approach." The cub watched them work with those intelligent golden eyes, seeming to understand that its life now depended on these strange creatures who had chosen to help rather than fear. Outside the horizon, the galaxy buzzed with news of the humans' foolish decision. But inside the medical bay, something unprecedented was happening. Humanity was proving that compassion could overcome even the deepest fears, and that help could come from the most unexpected places. As Anna prepared to try her first treatment, she glanced at the cub and smiled. "We'll figure this out," she promised. "Together." The cub clicked softly in response, and for a moment, Anna could have sworn it smiled back. 3 days had passed since the stalker cub came aboard the Horizon. In the ship's main laboratory, Dr. Anna hadn't slept for more than a few hours at a time. Screens surrounded her, filled with DNA patterns and cellular structures that seemed to blur together. "Coffee?" A now familiar clicking sound asked from behind her. Anna turned to find the cub standing in the doorway, carefully holding a cup of coffee in its clawed hands. Over the past few days, it had learned not only to speak through the translator, but also to perform simple tasks. The crew had started calling it Scout, after it explained that stalker cubs weren't given names until they proved themselves. "Thank you, Scout," Anna said, accepting the cup. The cub had learned to be incredibly gentle, despite having strength that could easily crush the ceramic mug. "How are you feeling today?" Scout's scales flickered with a pale blue color that the crew had learned meant pain. "Energy. Lower. Hard to maintain temperature." Anna nodded grimly. The genetic disease was progressing faster than she'd hoped. It was attacking Scout's ability to process energy, which stalkers needed not just for movement, but for basic survival. Without a cure, Scout would slowly freeze from the inside out. The main screen beeped with an incoming transmission. A hologram appeared showing an alien doctor, their long tentacles waving in agitation. "You must stop this foolishness," the alien insisted. "I have treated stalker victims. They are monsters. That cub will grow to hunt your children." Scout's scales darkened with what Anna now recognized as sadness. The cub clicked softly. "We hunt only empty ships, take resources, not lives. Others don't understand." Before Anna could respond, Tom's voice came over the intercom. "Doctor, Captain, you need to see this. I've detected 3 ships on an intercept course. Energy signatures match known bounty hunter vessels." Captain Jack rushed into the lab. "How long do we have?" 2 hours at most, Tom replied. "They're pushing their engines hard." Scout suddenly moved to one of the lab's computers, its claws dancing over the interface with surprising speed. "Show our ship, please." Anna nodded to the computer, and a hologram of the damaged stalker vessel appeared. Scout pointed to several areas on the ship's hull. "Here and here," it clicked. "Special metals. Help process energy. Maybe help me." Anna's eyes widened as she studied the areas Scout indicated. The stalker ship's hull contained complex compounds that helped it process energy from space itself, if they could understand how these worked. "Jack," she said excitedly, "we need to get samples from Scout's ship before those bounty hunters arrive. These materials might be the key to treating the disease." The captain didn't hesitate. "I'll send a team right away. Tom, calculate the fastest route back to the stalker vessel." As the Horizon changed course, Scout moved to the lab's window, looking out at the stars. "Why? Help me. Others, run away." Anna joined the cub at the window. "Because it's the right thing to do. On Earth, we have a saying. The true test of a civilization is how it treats those who are different." Scout's scales rippled with a new color, a warm gold that Anna had never seen before. The translator struggled for a moment before converting Scout's clicks. "Humans, very different. Maybe that's good." The moment was interrupted by the ship's sudden acceleration. Through the window, they could see the stalker vessel growing larger. They had maybe an hour before the bounty hunters arrived. Anna looked at her young patient, seeing not a feared predator, but a child fighting for survival. "We're going to fix this, Scout. I promise." The cub's response was interrupted by a sudden spasm of pain, its scales flickering wildly. As Anna rushed to help, she knew they were running out of time. The bounty hunters were coming, the disease was progressing, and somewhere in that abandoned stalker ship lay their only hope for a cure. The race was on, and failure wasn't an option. The Horizon shuddered as another energy blast passed too close to its hull. In the medical bay, Dr. Anna braced herself against a wall, while holding a container of precious metal samples from the stalker ship. They'd barely managed to collect them before the bounty hunters arrived. "Status report." Captain Jack's voice crackled over the intercom. "3 ships on our tail," Tom responded from the bridge. "2 more just jumped in ahead of us. They're trying to box us in." Scout lay on the medical bed, scales flickering weakly between colors. The cub's condition was getting worse, but its eyes remained alert and focused. "Help," it clicked through the translator. "No, hunter tactics." Jack's voice came through again. "Anna, get to the bridge and bring Scout if it's strong enough. We need all the help we can get." Anna helped Scout to its feet, supporting the cub as they made their way through the corridors. On the bridge, screens showed the positions of their pursuers. 5 ships, all armed, all closing in. "Their ships," Scout clicked, pointing at the tactical display. "Not real hunters. Cheap copies. Have blind spots." The crew looked at Scout with surprise. The cub's scales flickered with a color they'd learned meant determination. "Stalkers, study prey." "No, weaknesses." Scout moved to the navigation console, its claws gentle on the controls. "Here and here, dead zones in sensors." Tom quickly confirmed Scout's information. "The cub's right. Their sensor arrays have gaps in coverage, about 3 degrees wide on their ventral side." "Can we use that?" Jack asked, leaning forward in his captain's chair. Scout nodded, then winced in pain. Anna quickly administered a stabilizing treatment as the cub continued. "Turn ship, vertical. Dive through, gaps. They shoot, hit each other." Jack grinned. "Tom, plot a course. Engineering, give us everything you've got." The horizon turned sharply, orienting itself perpendicular to the attacking ships. The bounty hunters, expecting their prey to run or fight, weren't prepared for what happened next. The human ship dove straight down relative to their position, slipping through the gap in their sensor coverage. As Scout had predicted, the hunters fired anyway, and hit each other instead of their target. 2 ships disabled, Tom called out excitedly. "The others are breaking formation." But their victory was short-lived. Scout suddenly collapsed, its scales turning an alarming shade of gray. "Cold," it clicked weakly. "So cold." Anna's medical scanner showed Scout's core temperature dropping rapidly. The disease was accelerating, perhaps triggered by the stress of the chase. They needed to process those metal samples and develop a treatment fast. "Captain," she said urgently, "Scout needs a safe place to rest and proper medical facilities. I can't synthesize a treatment with just our ship's equipment." Jack nodded grimly. "What about the research station in the Gamma sector? They owe us a favor after that virus outbreak we helped them with." "Too far," Scout clicked, its voice getting weaker. "But no place. Secret, stalker repair dock. Hidden in asteroid field." The cub painfully tapped coordinates into the navigation system. A small asteroid field appeared on the screen, seemingly unremarkable except for a faint energy signature that matched Scout's ship. "Stalkers, trust you now. Help others understand. We not monsters." Jack looked at his crew, then at their young patient. The choice was clear. "Tom, set a course. Anna, get Scout back to medical. The rest of you, prepare for more company. I doubt those bounty hunters are giving up." As Anna helped Scout back to the medical bay, she noticed the cub's scales had a new pattern, one that looked almost like stars. "What does that pattern mean?" she asked. Scout's reply came softly through the translator. "Home. Found home. With humans." The horizon changed course, heading for the hidden stalker facility. Behind them, the disabled bounty hunter ships called for reinforcements. Ahead lay unknown dangers in the asteroid field. But for the humans aboard, none of that mattered. They had made a promise to save a life, and they intended to keep it, no matter what the galaxy threw at them next. The asteroid field loomed before the horizon like a graveyard of broken planets, Scout lay in the medical bay, wrapped in thermal blankets as its body temperature continued to drop. Dr. Anna watched the monitors with growing concern. They were running out of time. Energy signature detected, Tom announced from the bridge. It matches Scout's coordinates exactly. As they approached, what looked like a simple asteroid suddenly shimmered, revealing a hidden entrance large enough for their ship. Inside, they found an automated repair facility, its ancient machinery humming to life at their approach. Remarkable, Jack breathed, watching as robotic arms reached out to scan their ship. How long has this been here? Scout's voice came weakly through the ship's comm system. Centuries. Emergency facility for damaged ships. The facility's computers connected with their systems, and strange symbols filled their screens. To everyone's surprise, the symbols began transforming into human text. "It's adapting to us," Tom said in amazement. "The facility is learning our language just like Scout did." But their wonder was cut short by an urgent message from Earth Command flashing across their screens. Admiral Rogers' stern face appeared in a hologram. "Captain Jack," the Admiral's voice was hard. "You are ordered to abandon the Stalker Cub immediately. We've received diplomatic protests from 12 species. They're threatening to cut all ties with Earth if we continue harboring a stalker." "Sir," Jack started, "with all due respect. This isn't a discussion, Captain. The Cub is dangerous. The diplomatic risk is too high." "That's an order." Anna rushed to the bridge, her face flushed with anger. "We can't abandon Scout. The facility's database might have the information we need to save it. Look." She pointed to the screen where the facility's computer was displaying detailed stalker medical data. "This could help us understand not just Scout's condition, but the entire species. We could bridge the gap between." "Doctor," the Admiral cut her off. "Your passion is noted, but this is bigger than one alien cub. Stand down and prepare tow." A new voice interrupted. Scout had dragged itself to the bridge, barely able to stand. "Please," it clicked, its scales now almost completely gray. "Show truth." Scout pressed its claws to the facility's interface. Suddenly, the screens filled with images. Stalker ships rescuing stranded vessels, providing resources to struggling colonies, defending smaller species from genuine threats. The facility's database was full of records showing a very different side of the feared predators. "We protect," Scout clicked. "Hunt only. Empty ships. Take what needed. Leave. Rest. Others. Fear. Don't understand." The Admiral's hologram flickered as he watched the images scroll past. His expression softened slightly, but his voice remained firm. "Even if this is true, the political situation—" "Sir," Jack interrupted, standing straight, "I take full responsibility for my actions. Court-martial me if you must, but we're not abandoning our patient." Anna stepped forward. "If you want to punish someone, punish me too. I took an oath to preserve life. All life." One by one, the crew stood up, each refusing to abandon Scout. The Cub's scales flickered briefly with that warm golden color they'd seen before, the color of hope. The Admiral was silent for a long moment. Finally, he sighed. "You have 24 hours. After that, I can't protect you from the consequences. Rogers out." As the hologram faded, Scout suddenly collapsed. The Cub's temperature was dropping faster now, its scales almost completely dark. "The database," Anna said urgently, turning to the facility's computer. "There has to be something here that can help. Tom, help me search. Jack, we need power redirected to medical. Everyone else, grab those samples we collected. We're going to need everything we've got." The crew rushed to their tasks, knowing they were now racing against two deadlines: Scout's failing health and Earth Command's ultimatum. In 24 hours, they would either save Scout and change the galaxy's understanding of stalkers forever, or lose everything they'd fought for. The clock was ticking. Time was running out. In the hidden stalker facility's medical lab, Dr. Anna hadn't slept for 18 hours straight. The samples from Scout's parent ship were spread across her workstation, along with data from countless experiments. Scout lay nearby, its scales now almost completely black, breathing in short, painful gasps. Temperature dropping again, Tom reported, watching the monitors. Down to critical levels. Anna rubbed her tired eyes, staring at the facility's ancient screens. The Stalker medical database had revealed something incredible. Scout's disease wasn't natural. It was an engineered virus, created centuries ago during a war that the Stalkers had eventually won. The virus was designed to attack their energy processing systems, making it impossible for them to absorb the power they needed to survive. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a complex molecular structure. "The virus doesn't just attack Scout cells, it changes them. That's why normal treatments don't work." Captain Jack leaned over her shoulder. "Can we stop it?" "Maybe." Anna pulled up another screen showing the metallic compounds they'd collected. "These whole materials don't just process energy, they transform it. If we could adapt this process..." She trailed off, deep in thought. 6 hours left, Tom reminded them. "Until Earth commoned." "I know," Anna snapped, then immediately apologized. "Sorry. I think I have an idea. But it's risky." She turned to Scout, who was watching them through half-closed eyes. "Scout, the virus is changing your cells, making them reject energy. But what if we could change them back? Using your ship's hull material, we might be able to create a treatment that would transform your cells again, reset them to their original state." Scout's translator clicked weakly. "Dangerous." "Very," Anna admitted. "If it works, you'll be cured. If it doesn't..." She couldn't finish the sentence. The cub's scales flickered faintly. "Trust humans. Do it." Anna nodded grimly and turned to her team. "I need power from the facility's main reactor. We'll have to modify it to match Stalker energy signatures. Tom, help me with the calculations. Jack, we need those processing crystals from Scout's ship." The next 4 hours were a blur of activity. They converted the facility's medical chamber into a makeshift treatment pod, lining it with the processed hull materials. The air crackled with energy as they calibrated the power levels. "Ready?" Anna asked, her hand hovering over the activation switch. Scout was now so weak it could barely move, but its golden eyes remained bright. "Family," it clicked. "Humans, my new family." Tears formed in Anna's eyes as she nodded. "We're not giving up on family." She pressed the switch. The chamber hummed to life, filling with swirling energy that looked like liquid starlight. Scout's body arched as the energy flowed into it, its scales flickering wildly between colors. Warning alarms blared as power levels spiked. "The facility can't handle this much energy," Tom shouted over the noise. "Reroute power from the horizon." Jack ordered, "Give it everything we've got." The ship's engines whined as they diverted all available power to the treatment chamber. Scout's body was now glowing so brightly they could barely look at it. The cub's scales were changing rapidly, cycling through colors faster than they could track. "Come on," Anna whispered. "Fight it, Scout. Fight it." The chamber's crystals began to crack under the strain. They had one chance at this, one moment to either save Scout or lose it forever. The facility's computers flashed warning after warning as the power reached critical levels. And then, just as the systems were about to overload, everything went quiet. The glow faded, revealing Scout's motionless form. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. Then Scout's scales slowly began to shine with a brilliant, healthy blue, a color they had never seen before. The cub opened its eyes, and for the first time since they'd found it, Scout stood up without pain. Scout stood at the horizon's main viewport, its scales shimmering with healthy colors that rippled like the aurora borealis. The cub, though they could hardly call it that anymore, had grown noticeably in the weeks since its treatment. Dr. Anna's cure hadn't just saved Scout's life. It had helped it thrive. Energy signatures detected. Tom's voice rang out from the bridge. Multiple stalker vessels just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The crew rushed to their stations as 5 massive stalker ships appeared, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. Each one was 3 times the size of Scout's parents' vessel. "Scout," Captain Jack said calmly, "any advice?" Before Scout could answer, the ships surrounded the horizon and the hidden facility. The crew tensed, expecting the worst, but instead of attacking, the lead ship transmitted a complex series of clicks and whistles. Scout's scales flashed with excitement. The Council, highest, leaders of stalkers. They came, themselves. The facility's docking bay opened, and a delegation of adult stalkers emerged. They were magnificent and terrifying at the same time, each one nearly 4 meters tall, their scales shifting with colors that seemed to bend light itself. To everyone's surprise, Scout stepped forward and began clicking rapidly. The translator worked to keep up. "These humans saved me, cured the ancient virus, showed trust when others showed fear. They are different." The largest stalker, its scales midnight blue with streaks of silver, approached Captain Jack. Its voice rumbled through the translator. "You helped one of our young, when you could have left it to die. Why?" Jack stood straight, looking directly into the stalker's multifaceted eyes. "Because it was right. Because every life has value. Because Scout showed us that fear and misunderstanding don't have to rule our actions." The stalker leader turned to Dr. Anna. "You created a cure for a disease that has haunted our species for centuries. How?" Anna smiled. "We did it together. Scout's trust gave us access to your facility. Your technology combined with our ideas. It wasn't just human innovation. It was cooperation." The Stalker Council conferred among themselves, their scales creating patterns of light that seemed to communicate as much as their clicks and whistles. Finally, the leader spoke again. "For millennia, we have watched younger species, most react with fear, try to destroy what they don't understand. We test them by appearing dangerous, by letting them think we are monsters. Only then can we see their true nature." The leader's scales shifted to that warm golden color they'd first seen in Scout. "Humanity has shown us something new, courage tempered by compassion, strength guided by wisdom." Scout moved to stand between the humans and the stalkers, its scales now showing both patterns, human and stalker combined. 2 families, it clicked. 2 homes, maybe, bridge between. The stalker leader nodded solemnly. "The cub speaks truth. You have earned more than our trust. You have earned our alliance." It turned to address the human crew. "We offer you friendship, and with it, the truth of who we are. No more tests, no more fear." Just then, Admiral Rogers' voice came through the ship's comm. "Captain, your 24 hours are up. We've detected multiple stalker ships at your location. Do you need assistance?" Jack looked at Scout, then at the stalker leader, and smiled. "No assistance needed, Admiral. In fact, I think you're going to want to hear this. We're about to make history." As humans and stalkers began their first real dialogue, Scout moved back to the viewport, watching the stars. Its scales now showed a new pattern, one that looked like a bridge spanning the space between worlds. Dr. Anna joined it, placing a gentle hand on its shoulder. "What happens now?" Scout's answer came clear and strong through the translator. "Now, we show galaxy that sometimes most feared become most trusted. That humans change everything." Outside the viewport, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, witnessing the moment when humanity's compassion changed the course of galactic history, all because they chose to save, rather than fear, a single stalker cub.